Do you know what they did to me? They lied. They mocked. They spit on me. They beat me. They blindfolded me. They accused me. They called me a fraud. They called me a devil. They watched as I was stripped and nailed to wood, then cheered like justice had been served. And yet, I forgave them. Not because it didn't hurt, not because it didn't matter, but because they didn't know what they were doing, and because I knew exactly what I was doing. I wasn't just dying to save them. I was showing you how to live. Forgiveness isn't natural. That's why it feels like death. And in a way, it is. A death to pride, a death to justice on your terms, a death to carrying what was never yours to carry. Some of you are still holding it. The thing they said, the way they left, the wound that changed you. I'm not here to rush your healing. I'm here to walk you through it. You're not weak for struggling to forgive. Forgiveness is the hardest thing I ever did, and it is also the holiest. You've heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. That was written, and it was just for a time. The law was never meant to unleash revenge. It was meant to hold it back. It put a limit on how far pain could travel. But then I came, not to erase the law, but to fulfill it, to go beyond fairness into something far more powerful. I said, if someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And maybe you've wondered, why? Doesn't that make me weak? Nope, makes you free. You see, there's a lie beneath your anger, a voice that says, if I forgive them, they win. But listen, forgiveness is not surrendering to your enemies. It's surrendering to me. It's refusing to let bitterness write your story. It's saying, what they did was wrong, but it won't rule me anymore. When you cling to revenge, it feels like strength, but all the while it's poisoning you. So let me ask, who really wins? The one who holds on to hurt, or the one whose hands are open, heart is unchained, and soul at peace? The kingdom of heaven can be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his servants. One day a man was brought before him who owed 10,000 talents. You can't imagine how much that is. It would take lifetimes to repay that. And yet, he had none of it. The king ordered he be sold along with his family and everything he owned. Justice, fairness, the law. The man fell on his knees. His voice broke. His hands trembled. Have patience with me. I will repay everything. He couldn't. He never could. But the king looked at him and forgave the whole debt. All of it. Just like that. And that man walked out free. But then he found someone who owed him a few silver coins. A debt, yes, but a small one. One that could have been repaid. And do you know what he did? He grabbed the man by the throat, demanded every coin, ignored his begging, and threw him into prison. Word got back to the king, and the king was furious. Not because of the money, but because mercy had been shown and it hadn't changed him. So the king said, should you not have had mercy on your fellow servant, as I had mercy on you? And the man was handed over, not because he broke the law, because he broke the heart of mercy. Now listen to me closely. You are that servant, and so is the one who hurt you. You have been forgiven a debt far greater than any wound you now carry. You have been shown mercy so outrageous, the angels themselves still marvel. So how could you demand payment from someone else? I'm not saying what they did was small. I'm saying what I did was greater. I remember the sound of the hammer. I remember the sting of the whip, the laughter of those soldiers, the weight of the wood pressing into torn flesh, that nail driven not just through my hands, but through every sin, every shame, every betrayal ever committed. They didn't whisper lies behind my back, they shouted them in my face. They didn't wound me accidentally, they chose it. And still, I opened my mouth and I said the words no one expected. Father, forgive them. Not because they understood, not because they were sorry, but because that's what love does. Forgiveness does not begin with the other person. It begins with me. When I said those words, I wasn't just speaking over the crowd. I was speaking over you, over the wounds you've suffered, over the ones you've caused, over every soul caught in the agony of justice unmet and healing unfinished. Forgive them. I didn't say it to make their actions disappear. I said it to break the cycle of pain. I said it to release you from the grip of hate, to teach you that peace is not born from punishment. It's born from mercy. So if you're waiting for them to say, I'm sorry, you may be waiting forever. But I'm saying it to you now. I know, I saw, I felt it too, and still, I forgive. Come with me, and I'll show you how to do the same. Some of you are afraid to forgive because you think it means pretending. Pretending it didn't happen, pretending it didn't hurt, pretending that everything is okay. But that's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is not forgetting. I remember every moment of the cross. I remember the betrayal, the denial, and the abandonment. And still, I choose mercy. Forgiveness is not trust. Trust is rebuilt slowly with truth and time. Forgiveness opens the door to healing, but it doesn't remove wisdom. Forgiveness is not allowing continued harm. I turned over tables in the temple. I walked away from those who tried to trap me. I didn't stay where my body or my soul was in danger. And neither should you. Forgiveness doesn't mean calling evil good. It means refusing to let evil have the last word. It doesn't mean staying silent. It means refusing to speak with hate. It doesn't mean you weren't wounded. It means you've chosen not to wound in return. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is warfare against bitterness, shame, and the enemy who wants to keep you bound. And when you forgive, you don't say what you did was right to me. You say, God is still good, and I will not let this pain define me. That's what forgiveness is, and that's what I'm inviting you into. I know you want to forgive, but everything inside of you clenches. The wound was too deep, the betrayal too personal. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they did it anyway. I understand, I do. Judas walked with me for years. He saw the miracles. He ate the bread. He heard my prayers. And with a kiss, he sold me. Peter swore he'd never leave. And before the rooster crowed, he denied me 3 times while I was still bleeding. The ones who loved me the most fled. And still I forgave them all. Not because it didn't matter, but because they weren't strong enough to carry it, and neither are you. That's why forgiveness feels impossible, because it is without me. Your heart was never meant to absorb this kind of pain and carry it forever. It starts to twist, to harden, and then to break. But I'm not asking you to do this alone. I'm not saying try harder. I'm saying let me in. I will sit with you in the ache. I will hold what you cannot let go of. And when you're ready, I'll help you lay it down. Because the cross wasn't just for your sins. It was for your wounds too. And healing doesn't begin when they say, I'm sorry. It begins when you say, Jesus, help me forgive. Bitterness feels like control, but it's a prison. You carry the offense like armor, thinking it will protect you, but all it does is weigh you down. Some of you haven't slept in peace in years, not because of what happened, but because of what you've carried ever since. Forgiveness won't change what they did, but it will change what it does to you. Let me say this plainly. You've been drinking poison, hoping it would hurt them, but it's only wounding you. I came to set captives free, and sometimes the first door I unlock is the one you slammed shut on your own heart. You think forgiveness means they get away with it, but I'm the judge. Nothing is hiding from me. Nothing will go unaccounted for. You can trust me with justice. I'm not asking you to pretend it didn't hurt. I'm asking you to stop letting it rule you. What if peace is possible again? What if the silence could feel safe again? What if your joy didn't have to wait until they apologized? That's what forgiveness opens up. Not a return to the past, but the birth of a future you couldn't reach while you were chained. Come, let me unchain you. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to understand how it will all work out. You just have to be willing. Forgiveness doesn't happen in a flood. It often begins with a whisper, a cracked voice, a single tear, a quiet, trembling prayer. Lord, I don't know how to do this, but I want to try. That's enough. I never asked you to heal yourself. I only asked you to open the door. So let's begin. Right now, in this moment, breathe. Let your shoulders relax. Let the memory come. I'm still here. Picture the face. Name the wound. Say what they did, and say what it cost you. Now, give it to me. Speak their name if you can. If not, hold it in your heart and just say this: Jesus, help me forgive. That's it. That's where the healing begins. And tomorrow you might have to do it again. And again the next day. But I will be there every time. And slowly, quietly, freedom will grow. Your heart will soften. Your breath will deepen. And your joy will return. Forgiveness won't erase the past, but it will redeem it. Because the hardest act is also the holiest. And I am walking it with you. You may not feel strong. You may not feel holy. But what you just chose to do, the opening of your heart, even just a little, is the beginning of something sacred. You're not weak. You are brave. The world says revenge is power. I say mercy is stronger. And when you choose forgiveness, especially when it hurts, your heart starts to reflect mine. You're becoming more like me than you realize. I see your effort, and I honor your pain. I count every tear, and I plant them like seeds. They will grow into healing. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. The hardest act can become the holiest gift. That blessing isn't a reward, it's a reflection. The more you pour out mercy, the more you will experience the depths of mine. So walk forward now, not as someone barely surviving, but as someone becoming whole. And I will walk with you. Every step, every prayer, every release, until your heart is no longer just surviving, but overflowing with peace. You're not alone. You're not forgotten. You are forgiven. And now, so are they.